Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. I'm really flabbergasted the way knowledge is expanding. We always used to say knowledge has no limits, but now there's an explosion of information and explosion of knowledge, and it concerns all aspects of human life. Just imagine, we used always to think that a person who has been working too hard suffers from a burnout, and we used to consider it to be a psychological condition. Till now, it was deemed to be result of repeated routine work or repeated hard work or a result of workaholism. But no longer so. I'm referring to the phenomena of being burnt out. People used to say that middle age is a time when the people are burnt out and they need a change in career. And now it's no longer true. According to the World Health Organization and according to their international classification of diseases, burnout is not a mere sense of being exhausted, of ennui, of boredom. It's a medical disease. And you feel burnout basically when you have a feeling of energy depletion, a feeling of exhaustion, mental distance, feeling of negativism and cynicism. And this relates to one's job, as I said earlier. And what's the result? You become more inefficient. Your professional efficiency decreases to the extent that the people wonder, are you the same person? But now, according to the medical science and as accepted by World Health Organization, it is classified as a stress-related disease. But it's not a synonym for stress. It is basically a disease of psychology, human psyche. You can call it even a mental disease, which is a result of long-term pressure that has not been dealt with either by the person himself or herself or by the employer. And according to them, when a person shuts out all diversions and is concentrating only on one work, then he suffers from burnt out, and it has nothing to do with routine. It has nothing to do with hard work. It is only because the long-term pressure has made the person incapable of any alternate idea, work, vocation, or hobby. So what's the way out? The way out is, according to them, that right from the beginning there should be balance in the work and the other activities. And when the work becomes unbalanced, you just work, no activity, no break is. People, as you see, come home and even then they are working, then they are burnt out. And according to the doctors, as a matter of fact, the disease is easy to be cured. Take a long sabbatical. And as a matter of fact, they recommend now that all employers must insist that the employees take a sabbatical at least 3 times a year. So much for the burnt out. And now imagine it. Can you believe we have been condemning sexism? And now the sexism is in the air. Really? We have seen that we have different experiences in the air conditioning settings. Women by and large prefer to be a few degrees warmer than the men do. And now a study by the University of South California reveals that Arctic temperatures practically freeze the brains of the women. That is the reason because of the body size and fat to muscle ratio. And at home, at the workplaces, there can be intense battles. Women often just accept the cold temperature or wear a couple of extra layers. And those who don't, then their brains practically freeze. They perform better on both mathematics and verbal tasks when the air condition is turned on a warmer scale. And amazingly, this does not apply to men. Men's productivity is not impaired when it's a few degrees warmer than they'd like it to be. Even when it's cold, they keep on working, and the colder, the more they work. But if it becomes warmer, they do not have that because of the, as I said, body muscle fat ratio. So they are welcome to be dressed more comfortably. So for the workplaces that employ both men and women, it's a pragmatic sense to listen to the women and make air conditioning less cold. The metabolic equivalent is a 1930 standard, and that's the average body of energy requirement forms the basis of everything, including air conditioning. So a middle-aged man in a suit who then, and that was the norm at one time, that everybody going to the office would wear a suit, can impose those thoughts on the rest of us. And the people who wear formal dress because of this close fitting are able to brave. And that is why the women who wear tight fitting clothes are more active, more agile, because it keeps them warm. Now, the world is going more and more diverse, and that diversity is going to be a problem. And as I said, the great workplace divide is now the air conditioning. According to the research from the University of Southern California and Munich in Germany, women perform much better in high temperatures. The warmer the temperature, the more capable they are. But then there's significant decrease when the temperature is freezing cold. So, quite possible either you have separate settings, the climatic settings in the offices, or do something to ensure that the people don't have to suffer. But then that is not the end of knowledge. Imagine it. When next time you fly in a new aircraft, your seat, the cabin where you are sitting, would be smarter. The overhead storage space would have sensors which will read your body temperature and adjust the airflow accordingly without your knowing. So you are sitting at X seat, the airflow may be more, colder, And at other place it might be warmer depending on the need of the person. And not only that, they are also implanting sensors that can scan your brains, your thoughts, so that your reaction, your feedback is automatically transmitted, and they can adjust and then in their programs or the systems. Now, this is a major issue which violates the privacy. Which violates the privacy. Excuse me. The, it violates the privacy of the passengers because their thoughts are being scanned. Quite possible George Orwell's 1984. Big Brother is watching you is coming to the fore. And now this is the crux. If this way the airlines can invade the privacy, probe into your mind, what prohibits others? As a matter of fact, already in the grocery stores and the supermarkets, sensors have been installed which scan your brains, your thoughts, and then that is used for the marketing techniques and the marketing changes. And now coming to your old vinyl records, the transition from the vinyl LP records, long playing records, was to CD. And that's also over. Now we have streaming music, and there has been a game changer as far as the environment is concerned. When the vinyls were produced, they in 1977, for example, in USA alone, these long playing records produced 346 million pounds of greenhouse gases. And the streaming, people originally thought that it is going to be environmentally friendly. It is not so. While the LP produced 346 million pounds of GHG, greenhouse gases, the streaming produces 772 million pounds. This is the result of the research done by the University of Glasgow in Scotland. Agreed that the digital era has reduced the use of plastic for the medical purpose and for the musical purpose. But the extra demand and popularity of the streaming music has offset those gains. So what you have lost, or rather what you have gained on the less use of plastic, you have lost because of the higher demand and increased streaming music, which is much cheaper and much more easily available. So the greenhouse gases have almost doubled. Is this the way we tackle climate change? But as I said earlier, climate change is inevitable. And whatever you do, you will find it would happen. And it can't be even be delayed. Let's be very clear. It has to happen, the natural phenomena, but all these technologies and the technological progresses do contribute to the climate change. So, the frontiers of knowledge keep on extending, and we try our level best to keep up with it. See you next week. Thank you.